Hello everyone, my name is Kiva and I teach people how to achieve the luxe look for less. In today's video, we're talking about impractical home decor and furniture pieces. Sure, your favorite celebrity has these, your favorite influencer has these, but are they actually practical? Are they really sharing the secrets about how they maintain these pieces? We're gonna talk about it to make sure that your hard-earned money is going exactly where it needs to go. Before we get into today's video though, please don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and check me out on Instagram, but let's get on into it. Now, if you've been here before, you know that I'm not a negative person. I'm gonna give you the negative and positive, why you maybe should buy these things and where you shouldn't. I just wanna make sure that you're making a well-informed decision. But let's start out swinging. We're gonna start with the wicker pendant. So the wicker pendant has been in and will continue to be in, and they're cute. I'm not gonna lie. You have the really nice ode to the natural. They're really, really affordable because I know you can pick them up really easily at IKEA, World Market, Target. You can get these wicker pendants everywhere and they look nice. But one thing I will say about this wicker pendant is that it is overdone. So that doesn't make it impractical, but that's a piece of information you want to know, you need to know. A lot of people have fallen in love with interior design, especially since we spent more time cooped up inside. And you want to curate a home that is unique, that really speaks to you. But if you're copying and pasting from the IKEA catalog, I'm not sure that you're going to get that unique home. Now, the main downside though of the wicker pendant is that they are difficult to clean. So wicker pendants are made out of wicker, and they also have wicker pendants that are really just like pine that they bent a little bit and threw it up there, which is totally okay. But the problem with these pieces is they're not finished too well, or at least the more affordable ones from IKEA and places like that. So if you get a speck of dirt on them or grime, it is really, really difficult to clean off. And think about how you look at chandeliers, at light fixtures. When you see that layer of dust, you see that layer of grime, it really detracts from the experience, because it doesn't matter if you have a sparkling clean kitchen or otherwise. When you see that dusty vent or you see a dusty light, it just detracts from the entire experience because you're not able to get your house as clean as you would like. And what I will say about these wicker pendants, I'm not telling you to pull out your 20-foot ladder every weekend and give them a good clean. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. This is all about practical interior design. I want you to get light fixtures that are easy to clean. You can get your nice Swiffer duster and the nice extender and be able to clean it really well. Now, the next downside of the wicker pendant is that it is very, very stylistically limiting. Now, I'm the first person to say that our interior design styles change. You've seen that happen to me even over the past year that I've been on YouTube, and even before that. A lot of you tell me that you can relate to that. But when you get that wicker pendant, you're kind of stuck. You're stuck in the bohemian or the modern organic. And those are both beautiful, amazing styles. And if that's what you like, that's okay. But if you're going to try and shift to the modern, to the farmhouse, to the transitional, to the traditional, that pendant is not going to fit anymore. So that investment that you put in, it's going to be all for naught because you're going to need to get something new. Instead of getting that wicker pendant, maybe we'll choose a light fixture that's a little bit more versatile. So maybe a Sputnik, maybe a dome chandelier, maybe a candelabra chandelier, something that has a shape that is very traditional, very rudimentary, something that you see in all different design styles, and maybe you can jazz it up a bit by changing out the light bulbs or something like that. It's just a very, very limiting light fixture, and I want you to be free. I want you to be able to shift your home in whatever way feels right to you at that moment in time. Now, the next impractical home decor item is the cloud sofa, and you're like, ma'am, isn't that what I see behind you? You do. You do see it behind me. It's a dupe. It's a dupe. It's not the real thing. I couldn't get there. It is still a dupe, but these sofas are very, very impractical, and I'm going to tell you why. They look really nice, but they require a lot of fluffing. I'm telling you, the second my dog goes over there, it's over for me. And sure, I have the time to fluff them because I work for myself. I have the time to do it, but not everyone has the time to do that. And sometimes you just want to sit on a sofa and the sofa look good after you stand up. It looks like a deflated air mattress when you get up. That's just not practical for everyone because you shouldn't have to maintain your home constantly to be able to live in it successfully. That's just not fair to you. I'm telling you, it's something that you just don't want to have to deal with. And this has nothing to do with the color or the quality or anything like that. So I'm not talking about a dupe versus the cloud sofa. I'm just talking about something being filled with down. It is an impractical substance to deal with all of the time. So what you can do, you can get the cloud sofa without the down filling. You can get a standard filling like cotton or polyester or something that is just less malleable. So you can get the exact same look, but when you stand up, it's going to look the same. And that's amazing. Maybe there might be a little bit of a butt print, but it will come back. With the cloud sofa, if you step on it, moment of silence. That's all there is to say. It's just impractical because we don't want to clean all the time. I don't even have another point to make about this because this is the only point that really needs to be made. The next impractical furniture item is the round table. So before you guys sound off in the comments, the caveat is that if you're dealing with a small space, a round table is actually perfect. I wouldn't recommend anything else. But in larger spaces, there's no natural place for the round dining table to go. Let's break it down with some visuals. So say you have a rectangular dining table and a rectangular room. Okay, there's a very natural place for everything to go. You have two chairs at each head, one chair at each head of the table, and then you have two chairs on either side. People can maneuver themselves around. There's a very natural walkway and there's a natural place for all the chairs to go. What about if you take a round dining table and put it in that same space? So if you get a round table that's smaller, okay, you can maneuver around it, but only maybe two people can sit there. So you've lost 4 chairs. If you get a round dining table that is adequate in size to accommodate all of the 6 people you had before, then there's no place to actually walk around in that room. You cannot successfully pull out your chair and get up and walk out. So if you need to use the restroom, if you need to go get something, you got to go get your Scrabble. There's no way for you to actually successfully maneuver your room. The next problem with the round dining table is where do you put it? If you have like an eat-in kitchen area, a dine at, like a bar or a bay window, that's a very natural place for a round dining table to go. But most people don't have that. You kind of just have a set dining room that is either rectangular or square. Round dining tables work better in square spaces, but in the rectangular space, it's always going to be slightly off balance. And last but certainly not least, round dining tables tend to be really impractical because they're a lot more expensive. You have no idea the number of times that I found a round dining table that's like $1,200 and it's only 4 feet in diameter, which in my opinion is not very much as compared to, the rectangular dining tables that are like, 7 feet long and they're like 4 feet wide and you can do everything that you need to do. You can have an office and a kitchen and a, makeup studio and everything on one table. They tend to be really, really expensive, the round dining tables. You'll probably find one that accommodates 4 people for about $1,200. But you can find a rectangular dining table that is a lot larger that is actually, $600, $700, but comparable in terms of quality. I'm not saying don't get it. I'm just saying know all of these things before you make that purchase. The next home decor and furniture item that you should, be aware of before purchasing is the Gilt Mirror. Again, Kiva, isn't there a Gilt Mirror behind you? Yes. And let me tell you why you should, think before purchasing it. One, they are always super expensive. And with mirrors, they'll sometimes fool you. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, look at this really nice ornate mirror. And they're like, it's 2 feet by 2 feet. And you're like, what am I going to do with that? Ornate mirrors are really, really expensive. You can get them a lot more affordably when you go antiquing or to thrift stores, but they're really small in size still. So there are really, really huge investments. So you have to really like them before going ahead and doing something like that. You also have to make sure you have a natural place to put them. So Gilt mirrors have become really, really popular in the last year, and I love that. But they don't fit every design style, and I feel like people don't say that enough. If you are modern organic, if you are bohemian, if you are I'm not even going to list them all. There are a lot of design styles. It just doesn't make any sense. Like with bohemian, you have all of these beautiful patterns and textures. You have the rattan, the jute, all of these natural fibers. And then it's like, why do you have this big gold mirror with all of this ornate detailing and molding and studding on it in the middle of your home? It just doesn't make sense. This is one of those things, again, you can like the way it looks in someone else's home. You can really like it, but if it doesn't fit in your home, don't buy it just to buy it. And I think that is something that has happened so much recently, and you've seen me do it. The number of times I've gone shopping and I bought this and I bought that. Kiva, that's not your style. It's not your style. Don't buy it because everyone else has it. Don't buy it because you like it. You can like something and leave it at the store. Write down the timestamps of this, replay this over and over again when you're in Home Goods trying to buy something you don't need. You can like it, but leave it at the store. Another drawback of getting a really nice ornate mirror is that because of all the molding, all the trim, all the detailing, they require a lot of maintenance, a lot of dusting. So you have to get up there and clean them. You still have to Windex them. The ornate mirror doesn't look ornate when there is a film of dust on it. That's not cute. Another drawback of these ornate mirrors is that they are very, very heavy. So if there's a lot of running in your house, if you're afraid that they're gonna fall, you don't want something like this falling on your kids. You don't want something like this falling on your pets. They are 300, 400 pounds. They are very, very heavy. And if you're leaning them, that is a risk there. Now, if you want to mount them, that's okay, but can your wall accommodate 300 or 400 pounds? Not every wall can. I know you're saying, well, what about my studs? What about this? Yes, ideally, I would like every home to be made beautifully, but that's just not the case anymore, and I'm here to tell you the truth about that to make sure that you and your family are being safe. And last but not least, this is not last but not least, this is going back to the sizing thing. These ornate mirrors, they can be really, really large, but they can also be really, really narrow. And when you put a mirror in a space that not only doesn't fit your design style, it's just kind of like it's too small or it's too big, your entire house is out of whack. So even if you've curated this really beautiful space within your design style, you're throwing it all off by putting this thing in there that doesn't fit stylistically or spatially. All in all, gilt mirrors like this, they are beautiful, they are magnificent, but they're expensive and they're really difficult to style around. When you have a gilt mirror like this, it kind of has to like just sit and stand for itself. And a lot of people are uncomfortable with that minimalism. They don't know how to just have a few things and let one piece really be the statement piece. So if you want a grand mirror, if you want something that will actually work for every design style, maybe look for an arched mirror. So mirrors that introduce a really nice curve, but they have a really nice and slim frame. So you're introducing that mirror, it's reflecting the light, it's making your house look nice and large, but it isn't stylistically anything. It's kind of there to enhance whatever style you're working with. It's not something that's like, oh, she's trying to be traditional, but she's also trying to be contemporary. She's trying to be traditional, but she's also bohemian. You're not confusing people. You're not confusing yourself. It doesn't matter what other people think. You're not confusing yourself and how you feel about your home and the way your home looks. Just get something that's a little bit more neutral and will blend in with every design style instead of something that really dictates your design style. The last impractical furniture item that we need to talk about is the pouf. The pouf, if you don't know what a pouf is, it's basically an ottoman that doesn't have legs for the most part. That's what I would classify a pouf as, but sometimes people use the name pouf and ottoman interchangeably, and I'm fine with that. I am not the semantics police. So let's talk about what the problem is with the pouf. So poufs are basically ottomans, so they're very, very low profile, and that's fine. But poufs, while they are low profile, they still take up space. And a lot of times people use poufs to kind of help a space remain open when they're dealing with like a narrow space and they need a lot of seating, but they don't want to like kind of crowd the sightline. And I think that that's a great idea. But you still need to take in consideration the fact that you still need to be able to maneuver around the poufs. So sure, you might not be messing up that sightline, but you still have to be able to walk around them. It is not practical to ask people to pick up your pouf and move it every time they want to go sit in the living room. So if your legs are still going to run into something, it still hasn't remedied your problem. So what you could do actually is get those poufs and maybe put them under a console and kind of have them be a part of the decor. And then when it's time, bring them out and use them. But leaving them stationary in the space is still really inhibiting the flow of traffic. And that's something that we don't want to do. The next drawback of the pouf, and I've experienced this with a varying amount of like investment, is that they really struggle to sit up straight. They're kind of like a glorified beanbag. I love a good beanbag. I'm not knocking the beanbag, but they're sometimes a glorified beanbag, which means they fall over a little bit. So you'll have this pouf, you spend $300, $400 on it, and it's tipping over, right? So you have this really nice manicured home, and something is like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and you're like, why? And the poufs that do stand up, they tend to be really, really uncomfortable, so they're hard and you don't actually want to sit on them. And then yet again, they have kind of defeated their purpose. So what I will say is that if you like the pouf, if you like the look of the pouf, of course get it. Of course get the pouf, but make sure that you already have adequate seating in your home. And therefore the pouf just becomes purely decorative, which is totally okay. Now, if you like the look of the ottoman, you like the low profile look of the pouf, and you're not like, oh, I don't want to have something that I can't actually use, don't go for the pouf. Instead, go for the traditional ottoman. You can have a nice leather top, a nice cloth top. You have something really nice and plush on top. It's still low profile, but it has a wooden or metal base, so it's gonna really hold up. It's not gonna fall flat, and you can just get ones that are a little bit more narrow or something like that. You know what? I shouldn't say this as, you know, a stylist, but I really feel this way. Sometimes you just want things and you just feel like you got to do them. So if you feel like you got to kind of like block your walkway there, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your home. If you're my client, I'm going to tell you not to do it. But if you're not, such is life. Okay guys, those were some home decor and furniture pieces that are just impractical. I'm not saying don't buy these things. I'm just saying know all of this information so that you can make an educated decision before spending your hard-earned money. Do you own any of these things? Do you find them practical or impractical? Let's chat about it down in the comments. I always love having a good conversation with you guys. If you liked today's video, please don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and check me out on Instagram. And until next time, have a beautiful day.